My wife is treating me better and it's me off. I, 32M, informed my wife, 29F, last week that I wanted a divorce, and she responded as though I had totally taken her by surprise. She was astounded. She had no notion I was dissatisfied. It's difficult for me not to blame myself for this. Since we said, I do 3 years ago, I feel like our relationship has been steadily deteriorating. There were numerous red flags before we married, but nothing prepared me for how manipulative she would be during our marriage. I don't believe she's even aware of it. I wasn't even aware of it until quite lately. First, I was the brunt of her jokes, which were funny tiny jabs here and there. Simply ask her. When I expressed my displeasure with being insulted, having my personality or my work used in a joke, she maintained that I was overreacting. I trusted her. Things continued to deteriorate. I had informed her early on that I didn't enjoy being called names because of my trauma. As a result, when we got into disagreements, she began calling me names, selfish, etc. I never know what will rile her up, but I know that if I tell her that anything she did or said irritated me, there will be a fight, I will be called names, and I will apologize. She said that it wasn't so much that I was unhappy as it was how I behaved when I was angry. I trusted her and tried all I could to remedy it. When I stopped responding, she stated it wasn't because I was sad, but because of my energy or the way I looked at her. I trusted her. If I disagree with the modification she wants to make to the home or anything she wants to purchase, I'm close-minded and don't appreciate the care she put into it, so I attempted to be more open-minded. We both work full-time, but I make the majority of the meals, wash the dishes afterward, clean the kitchen, and the main caregiver for the dogs, and clean anything that is yucky. That didn't stop her from constantly making me feel like I wasn't doing enough. I didn't receive a lot of praise for what I did, but I did hear a lot about what I didn't do. So I persisted in attempting to accomplish more. I told her that I didn't want to be called names, that I didn't have any room, much alone a safe area, to express myself, and that I felt like I was doing all I could around the home and to assist her. That was, however, many months ago. I think I thought it went on deaf ears since I didn't see any progress. So I stopped pleading with her to alter the way she treated me. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, affectionate Pie 314, why did you remain for so long? I'm happy you inquired. We got along fine when we weren't arguing and she was in a good mood. During such occasions, Mom was quick to compliment me on how adorable and intelligent I am. We make each other laugh until we were in tears. I knew she didn't really mean all she said. She simply gets emotional because she loves me. In addition, my friends and family adore her. She's included my family in her social circle. My sister even informed me that she considers my wife to be her greatest friend. An outsider would have no clue we were experiencing troubles, particularly because I made it a point to never talk badly about our relationship to our friends and family because I didn't think it would be appropriate. Her friends, being the social butterfly that she is, are aware of how difficult it is for me to be happy and communicate effectively. Another major reason I remained is because I'm a people pleaser with insecurity. There's a reason I was so readily persuaded that I was the source of the issue. My wife and sister even intervened to get me on medicine, further proving that everything was my fault. I was frightened of leaving since I didn't want to harm my wife and still don't. I adore her. I don't want to offend my friends or relatives. I don't want to separate our dogs. In my personal family, I'm also the prodigal son. I'm meant to be flawless. I have a nice career. Gorgeous and loving wife with an even better job. Why would I jeopardize any of that? Then I began individual counseling, and it turns out that there are a lot of language names for all of the I've gone through, that I deserve to have my emotions recognized, and that it's not my obligation to ensure that everyone else is happy at the price of my own pleasure. Thank you for sticking with me this far. I'm finally getting to the point where I was inspired to write this. When I informed my wife I wanted a divorce, she contacted my sister, who then called me. My wife and sister persuaded me to remain for a few months, while we tried couples counseling after my sister suspected me of cheating since, why else would I want to leave so quickly? We dabbled in couples counseling but never committed, so I decided to give it a go. My wife has been great since I informed her I wanted a divorce. She's apologized excessively, let me express my thoughts, and has been praising me for all I've done for us, and it's driving me insane. I'd want to try couples counseling. I really believe it. I feel that counseling may be extremely useful now, more than before, but her being so amazing to me shows me that she was always capable of being better to me. That, for some reason, hurts the most. She could have been better when I told her how much I disliked being called names, how much I hated the continual criticism, and how much I hated feeling like I couldn't do enough. Aside from the catharsis of posting this, I was curious whether anybody else has been in a similar circumstance. Is it possible that I'm overreacting to her increased empathy? How effective was couples counseling for you? Thank you once again for taking the time to read and / or share your thoughts. Story 2. Ex left me for his coworker and got her pregnant within 2 months. Hello, so essentially I just want to voice my grievances while also get suggestions on how to proceed. Warning: contains a trigger for almost 4 years. IF/23 was with my ex, M/27. He works in retail, whereas I am a newly educated lawyer. In 2020, I endured a great deal of loss, including the suicide of my nephew, the death of my uncle from COVID, and the death of our dog. Until early August, we seemed to be as powerful as ever. When I contacted my nephew the week before he died, he snapped and told me how he often had suicide thoughts and could kill himself at any moment because it was that horrible. I hung up the phone. I felt horrible since everyone should be able to express their emotions, particularly to a partner, but it came out as disrespectful and callous that week of all weeks. It wasn't spoken gently, it was said angrily and harshly. He abandoned me 3 weeks later, saying, "It's not you, it's me." The following day, he was out drinking with his colleagues. He began working there in April 2020 and having a good time while I couldn't keep food down. Within a week, they were dating, and 2 weeks later, they made it official on Facebook. It felt like a smack in the face since he definitely left me for her, assuming he wasn't already cheating on me, and she was 18, about to become 19. He is about 30 years old. I was enraged at being replaced, and my self-esteem had plummeted to an all-time low. To top it off, everyone seemed to be ecstatic for them. Approximately 6 months after announcing their engagement, he and his fiancée disclosed they were expecting a child. Everyone seemed to be having a wonderful time, but I was upset since I had no prior knowledge of this individual. He had a negative attitude about children and commitment, and he is now seeing a young lady with whom he fell pregnant within 2.5 months of meeting her. How is it that everything seems to be going so perfectly for him? I'm enraged with him, and I feel sad for the young lady who is suffering. Was it possible that I had lost my ability to commit after 4 years? Is it conceivable that I'm completely bonkers and that I should be happy for them? After a rough year, I'm slowly regaining my footing, but I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong and how I can restore my self-esteem in order to go on. Hello, and welcome to everyone. I'd want to clarify a couple of points. Even though I have no proof of him having cheated, I was never in on him having an affair with her. I believe he was at the very least emotionally dishonest because he had worked with this lady and had her set up to go Facebook official within a month, which was dated roughly 1-2 weeks after they had split up. I merely recognize that it was, in my view, a lousy idea. It's been a year since they divorced, and his girlfriend is now 9 months pregnant. It took her 3 months to get pregnant after they separated. Of course, I only know my side of the story since we haven't interacted with each other since the breakup. I'm certain he was dissatisfied, and I'm certain he was looking elsewhere, but the response felt harsh and unreasonable. If he had wanted to, he could have changed the outcome of the situation. I not knocked up a 19-year-old.